Hello friends. In this session, we are exploring multiplier in an open economy, popularly called the foreign trade multiplier or export multiplier. We will examine how to derive a foreign trade multiplier and will also elaborate the idea behind foreign trade multiplier in a graphical way. Welcome to the session. The foreign trade multiplier works almost the same way like the investment multiplier popularized by J.M. Keynes. We know the Keynesian multiplier or the investment multiplier. The investment multiplier says that if the marginal propensity to consume is greater than zero, an increase in investment will lead to more than proportionate increase in the income, or income will increase in a multiplier fashion or in a multiple fashion. That's the idea behind the investment multiplier. Once more, the Keynesian multiplier, or what we call the investment multiplier or expenditure multiplier, is K equals delta Y by delta I. Delta means what? Delta means change in income as a result of change in investment will be equal to 1 by 1 minus marginal propensity to consume. This is the Keynesian investment multiplier. Also, it can be written as, since 1 minus MPC is nothing but MPS, it can be written as 1 by MPS. So, this is the investment multiplier. Our idea is to explain, or our intention is to explain the foreign trade multiplier. So, before that, it will be better to understand the idea behind the investment multiplier, because our export multiplier or foreign trade multiplier is only an extension of the investment multiplier, or we will elaborate this multiplier, or in fact extend this multiplier to an open economy. Now, so this is the investment multiplier. So investment multiplier K equals, it's a reciprocal of marginal propensity to save. Hope you remember the meaning of marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save. What is MPC? Marginal propensity to consume means that the change in consumption as a result of a change in income. It is net change in consumption as a result of an addition in income. MPS means net change in saving or an extra saving as a result of an extra income. Change in saving as a result of the change in income. Addition to saving when there is an addition in income. Now this is the meaning of MPC and MPS. Now, for example, let us say that MPS is say 0.5. That is, out of every income 50% is being saved, then the value of multiplier will be equal to what? 1 by 0.5, which will be equal to say 2. That is, if there is an increase in the investment, for example say for rupees 100, then income will increase 2 times. That means the change in income will be 200. 2 into 100, that's the multiplier, that's the idea behind multiplier. So this multiplier or the investment multiplier is for a closed economy, because the underlying idea behind the investment multiplier is that saving is equal to investment. Saving is considered as a leakage from the system, investment is considered as an injection to the system. That is, saving is considered as a leakage from the income stream, investment is considered as an injection to the income stream. So this derivation or this idea of investment multiplier is based on this equality of saving equals investment. Saving is a leakage, investment is an injection. Now, let us consider inverse, or in fact let us consider multiplier in an open economy. Now when we explore the case of any open economy, we have one more injection rather than investment, along with investment rather, and one more leakage along with saving. So in open economy, along with saving, we have what is known as import. Import is also considered as a leakage when we open up the economy, when we consider the foreign trade as well. So in open economy, the leakages are savings and import, because import is considered as a leakage because money flows out of our country. We purchase commodities being produced in the foreign country and our money goes out, or our money in fact throw out of our system. So saving plus import is considered as a leakage. Now along with the investment, we have another injection, let us call it as X. So we have S plus new equation in an open economy, where this is the leakage, this is the injection. Savings plus import equals investment plus export. Now, any change in income will in fact cause changes in saving and import, which are leakages as we said, along with investment and export, which are injections. Now let us explore this case, or now let us derive this case using a difference form. So what will happen when there is a change in income? As we said, when there is a change in induced income, or when there is a change in income, it will cause induced changes. It will force changes in all these four variables. Now let us explore like this. That means when there is a change in income, there will be change in saving. That is, delta S means changes in saving plus delta M, which will be equal to delta I plus delta X. What is this equation? It means only when there is a change in income, it will force induced changes in saving, import, along with investment as well as export, and the equilibrium will be retained. Equilibrium will be retained at a different level. Now, let us explore this case, that is the leakages. Now, let me say that delta S, which is the first one, that is changes in saving, will be equal to, it is nothing but the marginal propensity to save into delta Y. That is, changes in saving is equal to the changes in income into the marginal propensity to save. For example, marginal propensity to save is 0.5. Then if there is a change in income, say 100, 50% will be saved. 50% will be saved. So 100, it will be automatically will be equal to MPS, marginal propensity to save, into delta Y. Similarly, delta M means changes in import, means marginal propensity to import. Let us call it as MPM into delta Y. So we have seen the meaning of changes in saving and changes in import as well. Changes in saving, or delta S, equals marginal propensity to save into delta Y, while delta M, changes in import means marginal propensity to import into delta Y. Now let us replace these two concepts with our new equation, we have something like this. Then we have MPS into delta Y, which is nothing but the delta S plus MPM into delta Y will be equal to changes in investment plus changes in export. Simple thing, we only introduce or replace the term delta S and delta M with the marginal propensity to save into delta Y, which is delta S, and marginal propensity to import into delta Y, which is nothing but the changes in import. Now, since delta Y, or changes in income, is a common factor, we can take it as a common factor outside the bracket. Then we will have nothing but MPS plus MPM, let us put me in this bracket, into delta Y will be equal to delta I plus delta X. Now, let me make a small adjustment. I will put this term into the right hand side of the equation, and will invite this delta I plus delta X into the left hand side of the equation, and this equation will become delta y divided by delta I plus delta x will be equal to, this will go like this, 1 by MPS plus MPM. Simple. This will go towards here as a division factor. This will come like this. So delta y by delta I plus delta x equals 1 by MPS plus MPM. This is nothing but the foreign trade multiplier. So what is foreign trade multiplier? We have K, let me call it as K dash. So K is usually represented to identify the multiplier in a closed economy or the investment multiplier. So we have K dash to represent the foreign trade multiplier. K dash is equal to 1 by MPS plus MPM. This is the foreign trade multiplier which we have derived. So foreign trade multiplier is the reciprocal of marginal propensity to save and marginal propensity to import. And we have derived this equation from the identity where saving plus import equals investment plus export. So this is the foreign trade multiplier. No, what this equation says? This equation says is that smaller is the leakages, being the reciprocal, since K dash or the foreign trade multiplier or the export multiplier is the reciprocal of the two leakages. We can argue that smaller the leakages, that is MPS and MPM is smaller, then higher will be the value of the multiplier. Understood? If the value of marginal propensity to save and marginal propensity to import are smaller, then the value of multiplier will be higher. In other words, if the intensity of leakages are smaller, leakages are savings and import. Intensity means marginal propensity to save and marginal propensity to import. If that they are smaller, then the value of multiplier or foreign trade multiplier will be higher as well. For example, let us say that if MPS is say 0.2, marginal propensity to save is 0.2. Out of every increase in income, 20% will be saved. Say MPM, marginal propensity to import is say 0.3. 0.3, that is every increase in income at least 30% will be used for purchasing commodities from abroad, or it is, then the value of multiplier K dash will be equal to what? 1 by 0.2 plus 0.3, which will be equal to 1 by 0.5, which will be equal to 2. The value of multiplier or the foreign trade multiplier will be equal to 2. And similarly, let us say that if the MPS, on the other hand, if I say MPS is K dash, MPS is 0.1 and MPM is also 0.1, then it will be equal to 1 by 0.2, which will be equal to 5. See, smaller the leakages. Here we have 0.2 and 0.3. Now we have 0.1 on 0.1 in our second example. Smaller the leakages, higher will be the value of foreign trade multiplier. Smaller the marginal propensity, since the foreign trade multiplier is the reciprocal of marginal propensity to save and marginal propensity to import. Smaller the leakages, higher will be the value of foreign trade multiplier. So this is the derivation. This is how a foreign trade multiplier is being derived. This is the idea behind the derivation of foreign trade multiplier. Now let us explore same notion or same foreign trade multiplier or export multiplier using a diagram to have a better understanding of this concept. Now let us draw a graph of foreign trade multiplier. Now let us explore how we can explain the idea of foreign trade multiplier using a graph. For the time being, we will assume that there is a changes or there are changes in export, and for the time being we will assume the investment remain constant or there is no change in the investment, so as to isolate the effect of changes or increase in export on national income. So in this equation or in this graph, the x-axis or the horizontal axis, we will measure income, or more precisely national income. On the vertical axis, we have all those injections and leakages, because we have the savings, the investment, the export and import. So all the savings and all the leakages as well as injections are measured on our vertical axis or y-axis. So national income on one axis and all leakages and injections on the other axis. Now let us explore what happens when there is a change in the export and its effect on the national income. Let us explore that a case where we have the function of leakages. Say we have savings plus import is represented as a positive function or as a positively sloped curve. So two leakages are represented as a positively sloped curve. So these are the induced changes in leakages, saving plus import. Now let us explore the case of an export function. Now let us say that we have an export. So this is the export. Before the changes in export, the equilibrium level of income is let me call it as, say, y0. So there is an equality between injection as well as leakages. This is the point of intersection where our equilibrium level of income is y0, where leakages are equal to injection. Saving plus import is the leakage, export is the injection. For the time being, we assume that investment held constant or there is no change in the investment, so as to isolate the effect of the changes in export. Now let us bring our case. Now let us explore the case when there is a change in export. That means as a result of an increased demand for our export, there is a change in export, or as a result of changes in the taste and preferences in the foreign country, or due to any factor, there is an increase in the demand for our products. As a result of it, there will be an upward shift in this curve. This is straight line. We will have a shift. Let me call it as x1. Now we will have a new equilibrium position. See here. Let me call it as y1. As a result of changes in export, this is the change in export, it causes an expansionary change in income. Delta y by delta x. So this is the change in export, delta x. This is changes in income. As a result of a small change or a specific change in quantity exported, there is an expansionary, a multiplier effect on income. Clear? As a result of the change in export, there is a multiplier effect on national income, because when export increases, there will be increased income in the country and people will spend this income. Majority of this income will be spent, and even though there will be some amount of leakages as well, and when there is a change in expenditure, when there are changes in consumption, it will cause expansionary effects. That's the idea. When there is a change in export, there is an expansionary change in income. This is the multiplier. This is the foreign trade multiplier. So essentially, foreign trade multiplier operates the same way like an investment multiplier, as if an increase in investment. As if, like Keynes has pointed out, when there is an increase in investment, it will cause expansionary changes in income, or it will have a multiplier effect on income. Same here. When there is a change in export, there is an expansionary change in, or a multiplicative change in income, national income. The changes in income is greater than the changes in export. Now, we have also seen that this change, or the value of foreign trade multiplier, or what we call the K dash, will be crucially depend upon the value of two leakages or the MPS and MPM. And so it depends upon the slope of this curve, S plus M. This is the curve, and the slope of this curve is determined by S plus M curve, which is a positively sloped curve, which is the leakage curve. The slope of S plus M curve is nothing but the marginal propensity to save and marginal propensity to input. Hope you remember our K dash. What was our equation? K dash is equal to 1 by MPS plus MPM. So this is our foreign trade multiplier. The slope of this curve, is determined by the value of MPS and MPM. Smaller the value of MPS and MPM, then smaller will be the slope as well. That means smaller this value, this curve will become flatter and flatter. It's a relatively flatter curve. Smaller the leakages, the slope of this curve also will be smaller and the value of multiplier will be higher. So flatter this curve. That means smaller is the slope. Flatter means smaller is the slope. Smaller is the slope, the value of multiplier will be higher. So let me put like this. See? Smaller the value of MPS and MPM, smaller will be the slope of this S plus M curve, and larger or higher will be the value of foreign trade multiplier. See this? Let me draw another S plus M curve which is having a smaller slope. Let me see. I will put like this S plus M dash. Another curve which is having smaller slope or more flatter. See, the effect of multiplier is much higher. The earlier effect was the changes in income was only this. Now you see greater changes in income. Why? Because the value of leakages are smaller, or the marginal propensity to save and import are smaller. That's why we have a more kind of a flatter curve. When we have a flatter curve, that means flatter curve means smaller is the slope. When we have a flatter curve, the value of multiplier is much higher. The expansionary effect will be much higher. Opposite also is also true. If the value of leakages MPS plus MPM is relatively higher, then the slope will be greater as well. See this, if it is something like this, let me put like this, a new curve, S plus M0, S plus M0. Then see here, when we have a relatively steeper curve, the changes in income is much smaller, or the value of multiplier is much smaller. So this is the graphical exposition of the foreign trade multiplier. Basically operates same way like the investment multiplier, and it says that an increase in the export, investment being held constant, will cause an expansionary effect on income, and the value of foreign multiplier equals K dash equals 1 by MPS plus MPM. So K dash is nothing but, or the foreign trade multiplier is nothing but the reciprocal of marginal propensity to save and marginal propensity to import. And we also saw how to derive it in an algebraic manner, as well as how to explain this theme using a graph. Hope that these sessions are useful for you. So until we meet next time, stay safe, happy learning. Thank you.